moving on to the main content, the big movie we all saw, Judas and the Black Messiah. Starting as we always do with a spoiler-free top line. How did you feel about the movie? Like it, dislike it? Top reasons why.
So I'm gonna throw out a easy recommendation here. It's just good at everything it does. It's paced in kind of an exciting way, kind of almost like a noir kind of political paced kind of film. The acting is phenomenal. The script is good. It's got a really creative use of the soundtrack, I feel like. I don't know. I'm just thinking back on it. It just didn't feel like it was bad at anything it was trying to do. So, liked it.
Yeah, I also want to call special attention to the acting, particularly the lead. Just did such a killer job at being like this, because like this was a very charismatic person who's able to like amass a movement around him, right? So you better be like real charismatic in your role, and he killed it. Like actually, like he seemed like the kind of person like, yeah, I'd go to a rally with this guy. Like, why not? So it just I was to me he was the and actually I would say the agent and the also the person who was the double agent guy were also stellar.
Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya is Fred Hampton is fantastic. Like when he gives the speeches in the movies, like you feel like energized too, just as an audience member watching the film. And I also really like, and the other lead, Lakeith Stanfield as the FBI informant. He's certainly good too. Like he holds his own against an already like incredible performance. And actually, if I have a criticism of the movie, I wish I could have seen, I think, more just between them. And I don't know, I don't know how valid this criticism is, because I think I kind of wanted maybe a more like tighter script. Like this seems kind of like stretched out and thin, which isn't necessarily a bad thing depending on the intentions of the filmmakers. But I wish I could have seen more of, I think, their like relationship, like build-ups. I mean, like, it's gonna happen because, well, it's based on history and just from the title of the film. But
I think that's the danger of all like biopics or historic things that are based on history, is that you want to span all this time, right?
Yeah.
It's like, the interesting beats happen in, they don't all happen in succession necessarily. So how do you kind of write that while still maintaining a tight story and not making it seem as if like these are all disparate events, like these are all related?
Yeah, it's hard to do. And I just want to say, like, it's not that big of a problem at all for me. It's like, this is a fantastic movie. You should definitely watch it. Gets my recommendation. That's like, if I had to like come up with the criticism, like that's the one thing I could think of.
I think that one of the things that really drew me to this movie is that, so I can see where you're coming from, that this is really doesn't feel like a deep dive into a character at any point in the film.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things that maybe impressed me was kind of how economical they were able to convey certain motivations in certain parts. I felt like a lot of scenes were playing a lot of different roles for a lot of different characters in this movie. And so I can see how that would make it kind of come across as maybe not quite as in depth as maybe it could be. But at the same time, I kind of also admired it for that same thing. Admired that they were able to do so much with so many things happening. We still kind of got a sense of the arc of both characters without even really going super deep into them. So yeah, I don't know, I liked it.
Yeah, I'll say that the pacing is admirable, because I think that if you had made it I think you could have had more kind of one-to-one conversations between different characters to flesh them out. Like you could have done that, but then that would have added to the runtime to its detriment, I think. I think this is like a very, very good length. Like it, everything happened at a fairly brisk pace. Every like scene had a purpose. It wasn't just, you were learning something every scene. I guess that, I don't know how, if it was done well, I'm sure you could make it a 3-hour movie and still be good, like anything. But I appreciated its length. I thought it did what it did everything it needed to in the time span you gave it to.
Yeah, I'd agree with you about the pacing. This is a hard movie to get like bored with because it's just kind of always moving along. Which is like the movie's I think a little over 2 hours. It doesn't feel that length because there are some movies that are that length and it feels like twice as long as it really is.
Yeah.
But this it's got a very good flow. Like you just like okay. It's kind of a rhythm to it almost.
So this is once again sounding like all of us are recommending. We need to watch it definitely again sometime.
Yeah, we should. We've been watching too many good movies. I'm just sick of all of this quality, man.
We'll see. But no, this movie is great. Totally. It's interesting from both a movie standpoint, and also it's just a piece of history that I think is just not as covered as other time periods. Like how many World War II movies are there? How many, Civil War? Like there's a million things that we all know about. This is something that is I learned stuff. Like and if you look at how historically accurate it is, it's obviously takes some liberties, but it's not too far off of the reality of what actually happened. And it is very interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty relevant movie to like what's going on nowadays. There's definitely lots of parallels to draw. Like obviously, like I think that's a big reason why the movie was made. So yeah, watch. Yeah, like we all recommend it. Like go watch it. Like just for like the performances of the two leads alone. Like that alone sells the movie, I think.
Yeah, I believe it'll continue to stream on HBO into March. I don't remember the exact date, but it's maybe like mid-March it'll be gone.
So not too long after the release of probably our podcast. So
I'll try
get
to
on.
do this quick.